Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ripper, the Teller, and the Gremlin. We are now on episode 5, which is woo, yeah. And we are coming back again with our regular news updates. So let's jump straight into it. I'm going to start today, and I've got some things I really want to talk about. The man, the myth, the legend, Keanu Reeves. I'm not talking about John Wick. I'm talking about Keanu Reeves. So they've basically confirmed that Keanu Reeves, John Wick, the franchise, they are now shooting film 4 and 5 back to back, Avengers style, like Infinity War Endgame style. Let's just talk about it. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, I love the first 3. I really do. But to be honest, after that third one, I'm a little blown out by John Wick. Like, I'm a bit like, I'll see them, but I'm kind of like, yeah, like they'll have to like really up the ante or do something really interesting, because I'm kind of just a bit burnt out, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
Have they given any inclination as to what, like, where they're taking it?
Right, Some sort of like assassin war, wasn't it?
Yeah, so obviously 3 ends.
I mean,
are we allowed to talk about 3 spoilers or not?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
okay. Right, so I won't say anything, but the way 3 ends, it kind of is it's actually a really good ending to 3.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed
and it kind of implies that there's a war between, basically John's going to war with the High Table, isn't it? Basically,
I mean, they all kind of end the same way. They all kind of end with them, and now who takes on the next level of assassins?
Yeah, the next set of High Table. Yeah,
right.
Basically, but 3 ends really cool, and to be honest, 3 is actually my favorite out of 3. I love 3.
I think there's some great action sequences in 3, but I really, really love the first one.
Oh, the first one's best in terms of storyline and the original, yeah. But it's but okay. So one thing I was going to say about this, obviously, I can see where Chris is coming from with is it burnt out? But one thing I would say is, I've heard this theory, and it could be just a theory. However, whoever came up with it is a genius. Basically, the fact that there's now confirmed 5 films. Somebody had posted a while back saying that if they make 5 films, this is before it was confirmed, it will be the 5 stages of grief. Actually, if you read the 5 stages of grief in the order, each film correlates. I can't remember them exactly, but basically it's like denial is the first one, or whatever. So denial is, and it's him. Yeah, in the first one, he can't get over it. You know, he flashes back to it, can't cope with the dog. Yeah, and obviously and then the second one is something like the second one is anger. Yeah. Second one where he's on a revenge streak. The third one is accepting help, which is he asks favors and
he gets assassins to help him.
Yeah, he goes back to home. Yeah, exactly. So and then it's like
family to help him, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's like the
light spoilers there. Don't read into that too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Whoa, hold on.
No, it's not. It's not the way you think. But anyway, and then it's like, I can't remember what the actual stages are, but basically the last one. So the 4th one would be, I can't think what the 4th one is, but the 5th one is acceptance. So they were saying, if that is,
so he's going to be chilled in the 5th one. He's going to be blowing people away. He's
going to be at a kid's birthday party with a water pistol, it's like killing all the kids with water pistols, like rolling around the bouncy castle. No, but
got 5 puppies.
No, but to be fair, what they were basically saying is that if this is true, it's really clever that they've done that without us realizing. And if it does go full circle, the 5th one being acceptance, it goes 2 ways. Does acceptance mean he accepts who he is as a killer and he goes back to the life? Or is acceptance, he accepts what he's done, and he just, he walks away from it all. He's done whatever he needs to do, or maybe does he die? Does he accept? Is acceptance giving in?
Okay, yeah.
To that.
I like the death one, and I like the carrying on being a hitman. Yeah. Just because I think the retired thing is so overdone.
Yeah.
James Bond retires every movie. Yeah. Jason Bourne retires every movie. It's like any action sort of, spy or hitman movie.
They retire.
Every end of movie, they're like, okay, I'm retiring now. And then they're like, oh, we'll do another one because we want more money.
We'll pull you in. Yeah.
And then he's like,
and it's always I'm out of retirement for this.
Yeah. I think John Wick did it best with the people started to keep asking me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm starting to think I'm back. That's literally like the line. But no, to be fair, if that is true, he's just a legend.
He's not a great actor, but
he's a legend.
He's just so good at what he does.
He's not great.
And do you not think?
I don't think he is.
He's a brilliant actor.
But in these movies, I love him.
He's never meant to be though.
No,
I love him.
He's meant to be a blank slate. That
Yeah,
has
and
always
he's
been the
perfect.
roles
He's
he plays. Yeah.
But I do think with John Wick, it's almost a perfect role for him because he gets to be very quiet and very true to himself.
Reserved, yeah.
But he has this energy and this darkness that you
Mhm.
believe this guy is the hitman.
Yeah,
Right?
the boogeyman,
Baba Yaga.
the Baba Yaga, yeah. But this is something I am excited for, and I kind of now want to see these two. I'll see them regardless, but I want to see them to see if they do kind of take that route. And if they do, that's really cool in my opinion. And I think 5 should be where they leave it.
Yeah.
No, regardless of how they
I
finish
mean, it depends how much money it makes.
Yeah, if they're like Keanu Reeves.
Just wait.
I know, Keanu.
We'll be talking about
I know you're 70.
John Wick
Now,
11 soon.
Yeah, Keanu. I know you're 70, but
John
could you
Wick
please come
in
back?
space.
Yeah, but John Wick in space.
John
Going back
Wick
to the
in
Fast and Furious
space.
thing. Imagine him floating around space shooting people, bullets like slowing.
Doing his gung fu in zero gravity.
Exactly. But I think we're all going to see it, aren't we? But we just want to see where it goes and where they take it next. And if they kill any more dogs, I'm out. That's all I'm going to say. So Keanu Reeves, the man, the myth, the legend. He's an icon, really.
He is.
The world loves him, don't they?
He's not a great. I generally will stand by. He's not a great actor, but in every role he's in, I love him in his roles.
And also you'll see a lot of him as a person, and he's so down to earth and like just a genuine guy, isn't he? So moving away from the boogeyman, we'll go on to something that has popped up recently. We've talked a lot about Cyberpunk, even though none of us have experienced anything of it other than the delays.
Well, it's from the Witcher credits.
Yeah,
that's enough for me to go. I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, of course. So recently, Cyberpunk, a scam went around. There was people receiving emails with supposed beta
from
access.
a fake CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, exactly. And they were saying that you had access to a beta, didn't they, to go to play it. Obviously, this wasn't true, unfortunately, and I was gutted when I first started reading it and I read there was a beta. I was just like checking my emails just in case I got one.
Did you fall for it?
Yeah, but I lost.
You're like,
loads of money.
scam me.
But I'm pretty sure as well, like I saw some stuff talking about this, and apparently they asked for like payment details and stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm
you
sorry,
wouldn't for a beta, would
for
you?
a beta,
No.
You're not thinking some alarm bells going off, going.
Someone's emailing me asking me for my bank
Probably-
details
probably
and my
shouldn't
social
give those.
security number.
And then
But it involves Cyberpunk, so here they go.
Yeah, so here we go anyway. But yeah, so obviously it's a bit disappointing that there isn't a beta, and actually they have tweeted a couple of times, haven't they, saying that unfortunately that it
Stop
isn't true.
downloading this link, idiots.
And stop you clicking the link.
in a nice way. They
But-
didn't word it like.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it would have been cool if there was a real beta going out. I mean, a bit unfair if they're just emailing people at random, but nevertheless, what do you guys think about the whole people trying to scam for betas, really? And like, I know obviously there's going to be a huge fan base.
It's going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get some real.
Yeah,
get
that's the
people.
problem.
Yeah,
You may think
There's
how
so
many
much
millions...
hype for this game.
You're going to get groups of people.
Obviously, people are gonna click on these links and they're gonna fall for it. Like,
Yeah.
especially if they do see CD Projekt Red. Oh yeah, I know them.
That's got to be legit. Yeah.
They're legit. Yeah. So like, I mean, obviously, if you see these other scam emails that are coming from these random like URLs that
Third
you have no
parties or
idea
whatever,
what.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get one
exactly.
that
But
says
if
like
you
he's
see,
from.
if you
Go on. I say out.
if you do see that it's coming from CD Projekt Red, a lot of people will fall for this, and obviously, like I said, the hype around it, people are going to want to fall for it in that same way.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
my god,
Believable fantasy. isn't it?
and then they'll also be in that mindset of, how did they even get the idea to contact me? Like, as in, I don't remember entering for this, but everybody must just get it. Like, do you know what I mean? And then and they probably won't even think about it, which is the worrying thing.
But then the thing is, if you get to the point where it's like, hey, give us your card details, then I'm kind of a bit on the fence. You're kind of the idiot at that point.
At this point, you're probably the moron.
Well, this is the thing, is that a lot of people do fall for this type of
Yeah.
stuff, and especially you can imagine how many kids there are that don't think about
that's
this, not even their own
parents'
card.
credit cards getting used.
They just go into their mum's purse, and then they're just like, now I'm going to play Cyberpunk.
Yoink.
I'm going to be one of the first people to play Cyberpunk.
So I don't know. It is serious, and I'm glad
ironically,
that-
they have been cyberpunked because
Oh.
play on
That
words
is
there.
awful. That
Yeah.
is
that's
terrible.
That was, I like that. I'll be honest.
Chris is disapproving.
I'm
Bradley's
just shaking my
approving.
head.
Yeah, but yeah. So obviously, there's not too much to say about it, but it is obviously people. Will
I'm
try
just glad
scams.
they've addressed the situation. CD Projekt
Yeah,
Red.
they've
They've tried to make it known. Yeah,
They
can't do
they've
anymore,
done
can
what
they?
they can. Yeah,
Exactly.
They can't stop
They
it.
can't take the emails back. So,
And if they wanted to, if they really wanted to mess with people, they should now, if you can't beat them, join them, and they should actually start sending out emails.
Start
with real
sending
links,
out
like with real links for the beta, and seeing how many people were brave enough to click it.
I don't know if they'll do it.
Yeah, and then a link to a page that's like, "What did we tell you?"
Yeah,
Stop clicking these things.
Yeah, like a pop-up page. Way, you're a loser. But yeah, so I got one more piece of news for today, and again, it's something that there's not too much to talk about, but I really want your opinion on it, actually, both of you, more than I want to talk about it.
Right.
So Rocksteady has revealed they're going to be releasing a Suicide Squad game. They posted the logo on their Twitter, told everyone to keep an eye out for a trailer soon. Again, I don't have too much to say, but I'd like to hear what you think about it.
So for people that don't know, Rocksteady, I believe, made the Batman Arkham games.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they did such a good job with those. Like an insanely good job.
I'm not.
That's what I mean. That you cannot
Batman is amazing.
Captivate like the feeling of being Batman better. Than jumping into like Arkham Knight.
Especially with
driving
those
around.
iconic voices.
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy, Mark
Oh
Hamill,
god,
Joker.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They did everything right. And to be fair, like I think this could just be the next step up for them because they said they want to move away from after the last one.
Yeah. I mean, they've done 4.
And that's fair enough.
Three directly, and then Origins was another
Origins
studio,
was another company.
Yeah.
So for me, the Batman Arkham games, I've played them all since the first. I love all of them. And to be fair, I couldn't really tell you one I didn't like, and in fact, I loved them all. But
except for Riddler puzzles.
Except from the Riddler trophies,
getting the ending in.
I love those.
Yeah, I never did that.
Chris, of course, Brad.
The collectaholic loves them.
I'm watching the ultimate ending online.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Because I got to like 50 Riddler puzzles, and then it was like 230 to go,
left,
and I was like, "What? No."
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But I love the games.
I'm pretty sure I did that.
And Bradley's right though.
I'm not surprised.
Capturing the feeling of being Batman was spot on.
And
I do love those games. There is mixed opinions about them, but yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know what route they'll take on this with the Suicide Squad. There's said to be actually I don't know, Chris, if this was something you heard about, rumored about there being a mission in the game where you might be able to try and kill Superman or kill Superman from the Justice League.
Yeah.
So
the whole Justice League.
But I don't know. It would be cool.
Yeah,
it's quite cool. And obviously the fact that you're the Suicide Squad and it's obviously a different spin to being Batman or whatever, that's cool. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because
I think it's one of those wait and see things.
It is.
I'm just so fuming. Because obviously it was rumoured for years that they were working on a Superman game. And then it was leaked from inside that got canned halfway into development because the studio had no faith in a Superman game.
Right.
Because at the time it's not confirmed we're getting a Man of Steel 2. No. But at the time they weren't doing Man of Steel 2. There was a real lack of faith in the Superman character at Warner Bros.
Right.
So it's rumoured that they developed the Superman game in the style of the Arkham games.
Okay.
So for me, this is almost overshadowed by I'm still sitting there with my pitchfork like, give me my Superman game.
No, I know. Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see where it goes. But I'll be interested to see how they take each character and kind of make the gameplay work for them. But I'll definitely keep an eye on it. I don't think I'll enjoy it as much as the Arkham games.
I think it's one I will definitely buy. That.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll definitely play it, but it's just whether or not I enjoy it as much. But I mean, that's all for me from news. Bradley, you've got a couple of things you want to talk about, and on the superhero subject, I think your first one is to do with superheroes, is it not?
Actually, I'm going to save that because it's going to be a big talk. But I've got 2 smaller pieces I want to talk about first. So something that I just kind of want to get your opinions on. So a $70 million sci-fi film by the name of B, just the letter B, has cast its lead role.
I wonder how much
the lead role.
What the writer?
The guy who comes up with the name. Like, what do you call it? B.
Just B. Yeah. B. It's like A, but one after.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lead role has been cast, and it is a AI robot by the name of Erica. She was created by Japanese scientists Hiroshi Ishiguro and Kohei Ogawa.
That
Thank you.
pronunciation. Round of applause. Please.
So she was actually created by these Japanese scientists to play this specific role. And it has actually been, the task has actually been given to these two scientists to teach Erica how to act. And they have, quote, been applying the principles of method acting to artificial intelligence. How you two feel about such a huge budget movie having its lead role as a robot?
That's sheerly terrifying. And teacher acting, well regards, but method acting.
It's a
method acting.
It's scary.
The
isn't it?
acting
Method
where
acting,
people
yeah.
lose their marbles.
If you
It's
look
a
at,
great thing to teach an artificial intelligence.
well, do you know what my theory on this is? I was having a good think about this when I saw this news. And for me, obviously, we've all seen iRobot. We've all seen plenty of films go horribly wrong. Yeah, but that's not my initial thought. My initial thought was I read this thing about method acting. I just kind of thought the whole principle of teaching an AI to act in general is actually terrifying in itself, because if you teach it to act, right, what is to stop it from from false acting in real, like in normal situations?
Yeah,
and if it
outside of filming,
if it can convince people that it's not acting and that's how it feels, what is to stop it from having ulterior motives?
These are some big
yeah.
This is a big brain, right? Big brain talk, right? But it is scary, is it not?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I actually wrote. I mean, yeah, it's insane that we are actually ready for this. But I also wanted to tell you that the film, apparently, so this is what they've given as a brief synopsis. The film follows a scientist who realizes flaws in a program he created to perfect human DNA, and helps the AI woman, played by Erica, he designed to escape. So in the film, she's going to be acting an escape out from God knows what. But what happens, as you said, when she stops acting and realizes that she does need to escape her human creators?
Like she's like, they're like, right, and
literally,
and she just like dives out the window.
I'm going to have to level with you guys. You know, when they were like, "Oh, we've taught her to method act," there was part of my brain that went, "Is that all you've taught her to do, you saucy little git?" My brain went there.
That's where you went.
Like, I'm not sure I trust you guys. If she can act,
what else can she do?
What else can she do?
Well, I trust the scientists. I'm more just skeptical on the fact that we have all these stories based on AI going rogue, and we're literally getting an AI to do to act this out.
I mean, it seems to me that it's kind of like the Geth from the Mass Effect. It's like a group trying to help them escape people who are trying to, control them or, persecute them type thing. Yeah. And at least in that respect, she's like, hey, these humans showing me that there's good humans who will support my rights and my. So maybe we should just get a bit self-aware. At least she, maybe the Geth would be like, maybe there's some nice normal people.
Maybe she's not going to go on
a
murderous
have
spree.
A few like Quarian friends in the Mass Effect storyline.
Yeah. So the ultimate question: would you want in our world self-aware?
Oh, you're sounding like a robot yourself.
Yeah, you
right
are.
Now.
You're turning proper robotic.
We had a power failure there.
Having some slight internet
issues. On,
yeah.
Say that again. So
internet issues. Yeah.
What is
so? Would you in our world want artificial intelligence that is self-aware? So would you like to walk down the street and have a mix of AI, humans, and humans? So basically, androids and people.
I think that's where it's going.
Yeah.
So you want that future? You're not intimidated by all the scare stories.
My problem is there's so much science fiction about the bad outcomes.
Yeah.
That in my mind, the worst thing you can do, I think, is push against it, rally against it, and alienate the artificial intelligence. Right? If you embrace it, there's still a chance that it could turn around and be like, "Man, you're not very good for the planet. See you later, mate."
You're not very good for that.
I think the outcome is better if you embrace it than if you
walk away from it,
become xenophobic to it, and you
good word.
Treat it like it's this foreign invader. That will not end well for anyone. It's the whole, like, if you've ever looked at the origin of the Matrix movies, the machines wanted to be our friends,
right,
and then the humans push them to extinction almost. When they fight back, and then they put us in the Matrix,
Right?
Because they still don't kill us all. They have every right to kill us all, but they put us in the Matrix.
So my answer to that question would be that I agree. I think you should embrace it, because you know we see all these bad outcomes, but there's no saying that. And I wouldn't feel intimidated. Like I think when you say about walking down the street and seeing walking past, artificial intelligence, I see Detroit Become Human, the game.
Oh, right.
And obviously that's about how people don't agree with them, and they, people they mistrust them, they abuse them, they beat them up and stuff like that. And I kind of see the feels, like the sorry side of that. Like, if they're self-aware and they don't really understand why they're outcasted and why they're hated, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. To me, it's okay. Although it's not quite a person, it's still, if it's conscious as in of itself, you've got to at least give it a chance. I mean, anyone could turn around. I could turn around now and shoot you, Chris. But like at the end of the day, I could turn around and shoot you, right? But you trust me. But you trust me, right? So well, you did until 5 seconds ago. But either way, do you see what I mean? Like, you've got to at least, you've got to embrace it. So yeah, I mean, that's my answer. And I think we should have a buzzer, by the way, for every time someone uses a good word, like a little ding. I like that. Which
for his use of xenophobic.
But yeah, no, and I think it's the same as what Jack said. Like, weirdly, in my own sort of, I know obviously we can't take science fiction as science fact, but I remember playing the Mass Effect series, and I'd always do the ultimate good guy playthroughs, and I would always try to make peace if it was possible. But I remember my first Mass Effect 3 playthrough, and I actually chose the Geth over the Quarians because I didn't have enough positive points to forge peace between them. And it's just because I could never... Because you bring Legion on as a squad mate and you bond with him and you learn that there's so much more to him. And then it's the fact that the war, as much as the Quarians, have lost their home, they're trying to take it back. They're the ones who attack the Geth at the start of Mass Effect 3. It's not the Geth who go after the Quarians. So for me, I could never reconcile that. But luckily, you can just get enough karma points and then forge a peace between them both. So second playthrough.
So yeah, I mean,
so you want everyone to live together in harmony is what we take away from it.
Really, the one thing
whether
is
you're AI or human.
I'm starting to think you are AI.
Sorry,
you're roboto.
So anyway, all I was going to say, Bradley, is that you've asked us that question. We haven't asked you. So where do you stand?
What's your thoughts?
Oh, I agree completely. I think it is an inevitability almost. With the way automation's going in everything, you can look and see jobs just going because of robots taking over.
Actors, you have no
exactly.
career prospects.
The only jobs that say for the programmers and the hardware developers for the AI and the robots.
Exactly.
So it is an inevitability, and I do think that you're right. It is something we need to embrace and kind of deal with as it comes. But yeah, no, I wouldn't mind a world where we get to live harmoniously with AI walking down the street.
Harmoniously, being
anyway,
the keyword.
Yes, exactly. So my second piece of news is it's not so much news and just so much as a point of talk, and that is Star Wars Squadrons. So it is set to release this year on October 2nd. And probably the closest thing to news would be that it is revealed to have a price of £34.99 pounds. That is, so around $40. It features crossplay and no microtransactions, which this is EA we're talking about. That's a big deal.
It's almost like this once.
But just don't ask them to take their stuff out of their football games.
Yeah, exactly. But all these good things, especially the price, does come with a caveat, and that is that they have been quoted as saying they want to make what the consumer wants, to capture the fantasy of dogfighting in X-Wings and TIE fighters, and this price reflects a more focused experience, is what they've said. So essentially, that means there's not going to be that much content. It's just the 5v5 dogfighting experience in first person.
And
I just wanted to see.
Campaign.
Well, I mean, that's if they have a campaign. If they actually said anything,
I think they did say there was going to be. Yeah, I think they did say there was going to be a campaign.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 4 hours and it has some.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did just end up dropping it.
Yeah, maybe.
Just saying.
I'm pretty sure I had it at Campaign.
I think I did
really
too.
Work, yeah.
But my I'm going to keep mine short and sweet, just like me. I don't like I'm going to be honest. I don't like this game. This game doesn't appeal to me in the slightest, and I love Star Wars. And I'll tell you exactly why. I'm not the kind of person, and this is just me being outright. I don't like piloting games. I don't really like driving games. They're not a bit of me. But like, you know, even games like battle royales and things like that, where you have the choice of vehicles and that, I would rather be a passenger and let someone else drive or fly. It just doesn't interest me. And you know, Battlefront 2 has that mode where you're.
It kind of feels like that's been just ripped out of Battlefront 2.
It does.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I played one game in the whole time I've ever had Battlefront 2 of that mode, because I just don't enjoy it. I don't. And when I saw Star Wars game again, I got excited. And then I saw it was all about Squadrons and TIE fighters and that, and I was just like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I mean,
Lost me.
My sort of thing on it is, I like you, Jack. I like the idea of, so if you played the first EA Star Wars Battlefront, there was a Death Star map, and you do a whole sequence as troops on the Death Star.
Yeah.
And if you got to the end as the rebels,
it
would then start the trench run.
Yeah.
And you'd spawn in the ships, and you'd have to try and blow up the Death Star like Luke does in A New Hope. And to me, I just want a game that combines aerial Star Wars with ground combat, because it's boring just doing ground combat all the time. But it's boring just doing the aerial all the time. But when you've got a game mode like that was like the most popular game mode on the original EA Battlefront, it brought them together in such a nice way that then when you got into the air, it was like, oh, I've just been fighting for 20 minutes on the ground. This is exciting.
But it's having that mixture, and I think having a whole game dedicated to dogfighting is just, unless you are the kind of person who love those sort of games, that game would probably really appeal to you, because it looks pretty good from like as in graphics wise and things like that. And if they're going to nail dogfighting, then brilliant. But for me, it's just I won't buy it. And to be honest, even if it was free to play, I probably wouldn't. Wow. That's just because I'm just so anti those sort of games. But that's just me being very negative.
So overall, how do you feel about the idea of having almost, well, it would be nearly a half price game, but far less content than we're used to?
Do you know what I see when you say that? All I see is half price game for half a game, because you're because it's going to get so boring. Imagine how, I mean, I don't care how good the gameplay is. And again, sorry if I'm talking from a point of view of someone who doesn't like it, but even if you did, surely you're still going to find it boring if you're playing a very few different maps, different areas, and you've got very limited different options on what you play as, and it's just 5v5 over and over again. Would you not find that boring pretty quick?
I mean,
you're in space. How different could it be? Like,
I think, all I have to say on it is it's just not my cup of tea.
No, not a bit of me. So, Bradley, unless you have anything else to say about that, then
no,
kick that one to the side.
Yeah, goodbye, Star Wars Squadrons. No one apparently likes you.
That's going to blow up like the Death Star, that one.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see how well it does, really,
on release,
financially.
Hopefully they'll never make another one of those.
We'll just have to wait and see.
But my problem is I kind of hope it does well, because it encourages good practices.
Yeah, of course.
And it encourages EA not to shove microtransactions and everything. If this flops, EA are just going to go,
we're going back to microtransactions.
Well, clearly, microtransactions is what you want.
Yeah, exactly that.
Right. So onto the last piece of news for me today, and it's gotten quite big over the past week.
Isn't it?
It is a doozy. So I was initially very intrigued and wanted to talk about the first piece of news. So basically, Marvel's Avengers, which used to be called A-Day, I don't know when they changed the title.
I didn't even know that.
I thought it was just Avengers.
I thought it was just called Avengers.
It was Avengers A-Day at one point, and you can't find anything about
awful.
that.
That is horrendous.
They changed it because it was.
Well, this is the thing, because for ages, up until I was researching this, I was still calling it Avengers a Day, like have your 5 a day.
Like you're Avengers, like you're an Avengers for just one day.
Yeah, but for some reason the A-Day is gone.
Yeah.
Unless it was never called that, and they just kept plastering it alongside, but I'm pretty sure the first ever trailer.
Maybe you had a loose.
No, because it follows the events of A-Day, and so it did have something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically, Marvel's Avengers, which is set to release in September, has had some major controversy hit. So basically, the biggest thing right now is that the character of Spider-Man will arrive in a post-launch update, yet he will only be arriving on PlayStation consoles due to Sony's ownership. So obviously Xbox and PC players have been annoyed, and
Human.
obviously, like this is the thing. So we got an interview with Scott Amos, who's one of the big dogs at Crystal Dynamics, the developer, and he's not really being very fair to the fans with how he's responding to it. One of his responses basically said that he doesn't think it's a problem on missing out on Spider-Man because there's loads of other characters, and I can't really agree with that because of how much of an icon Spider-Man is.
It's ridiculous.
And like, he would have literally been my instant go-to. Like, you know, probably wouldn't have even looked at the other characters before picking Spider-Man and then trying the other characters.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it's fair to say we're not missing out.
You're massively missing
because
out,
of the other characters. Exactly, because of how big a character Spider-Man is. But then he really riled fans up with the response that if you really want to play Spider-Man, he quoted as saying, "You have the option to do so on PlayStation." as if that's I'll just go out and spend like £200 on a PS4.
How much is Sony paying this man?
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I've put. In the end, the rights are Sony's, and obviously that's nothing Crystal Dynamics can do.
No.
If Sony is adamant that they are not going to put it on any other console, which is ridiculous because Spider-Man has featured in other games on other consoles in the recent years, it's just something that
I'm kind of surprised Disney didn't step in though, because if you actually look at the rights, Sony only own the movie rights.
Yeah.
Disney own the merchandising rights, the comic book rights. So it's kind of like shared between them. But obviously, I don't really know obviously how it works, because obviously they do, I guess, have their Spider-Man games, but they do technically only own movie rights. But I guess because they've made Spider-Man games, they've kind of already moved.
Maybe they've claimed. Yeah, more and that's the thing. But the thing I was going to say there is that even though potentially now, because I'm not too sure either, I'm not into the legal side of who has the rights, but even if the rights are Sony's, Crystal Dynamics, the developer, have the right to also say no. They don't have to implement Spider-Man at all to make it fair.
Yeah.
They can say, we're not going to do it if it's just for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then that would solve the problem, because then either Sony can look bad for everyone and say, well, then no one gets it, or they can be fair to everyone and say, okay, fine, we'll let other people have it as well. So that's been the first bit of controversy. Now it's been revealed that the exclusivity won't stop there. So for starters, PlayStation will get 30 days exclusivity to a plethora of customization items, including skins, probably emotes, things like that. But there's also been leaks that show collaborations with big companies such as Verizon, Virgin Media, and Intel. So we're going to hit a completely new level of what it means to have a paywall for items in game, because there's the potential that you need to be customers for each of. Now these are just leaks and nothing is concrete, but at the same time it seems pretty likely that there's going to be some sort of partnership with these companies. And if you then do need to be a part of these companies, say have Virgin Media in your home, and then you'll get access to these skins, or buy like Intel computer or something like that,
your phone provider.
Ridiculous.
You can imagine though, can't you? Like, so picture like the younger kids than that are going to be playing this game. Obviously they want to play the Avengers or whatever. You can already see, can't you? Like, mum, we need to change our broadband over to Virgin or whatever. Like, and like, what do you mean? Like, my friends' families on Virgin, and they've just got this skin, and I need it. Blah blah blah. And that's just ridiculous. Like, and it is madness. And it's like, why are they doing this game? Like, because
it's Avengers and it's going to make a ton.
Yeah.
And everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
It feels like they're pretty much abusing the fact that they have this big name.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to make as much money as possible, because obviously they won't get any money from us if we sign up with Verizon, Virgin Media, Intel, whatever they partner with, they won't get any money from us. They'll just be getting it from the companies direct. They'll be getting all this advertising money. So they're not even thinking about the gamer there. They're not thinking about
they're just laughing.
Exactly. They're laughing because they've already got their money. I don't know how it will work, whether it will be per how many skins like are given out, like with, you know, how many people sign up. But it could just end up being ridiculous. But the amount of people that would want to collect all the skins, that love Marvel and would want to have everything. Yeah. And I mean, it's not even just kids. You can imagine adults switching like phone bills just to get these skins. Yeah. And just spending so much like money that isn't even going directly to the developers, which in my mind seems ridiculous. To have all these skins and things, and the developers not even getting this straight cut. They're getting this corporate advertising profit, which is, I don't know, it just blows my mind that we've potentially got to this point. I'm hoping
it feels like a platform, doesn't it? Like like, you know, like those mobile games where they have just a platform for advertising and selling things.
This is what it's coming to, though,
and
isn't it?
You know, the other thing is that this is a £60 game.
So,
and like they showed off a collection of skins Hulk can get. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they showed Gladiator Hulk. And it looks like you have to buy that in the store. And I'm like, I love that skin. Gladiator Hulk is awesome. And you're telling me I can't get that through the game. I've got to buy it off your store. I've already spent £60 on this game.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't agree more. And do you know what? The annoying thing is that I'm actually... I was at first, I really wasn't excited for this game, and then the more time's gone on, the more it sort of appealed to me. But the more I hear stuff like this, the more I'm like, am I going to bother with it?
I mean, it looks fun.
Yeah, the game itself. But what I'm saying is that, you know, now I know I hate to say it, I hate to just be one of them people, but you know, this whole Spider-Man controversy and the exclusive with Sony and everything. It's just made me think, okay, I'll just get it on my PlayStation because I want to play Spider-Man. I don't care about everyone else.
Don't fall for it. Boycott.
But I want to be Spider-Man.
It's Avengers. A boycott's not going to work.
Yeah. Like when you're sitting there playing as everyone else and I'm going, hey, Bradley, I'm playing as Spider-Man.
This is the problem. I went on their official website. They currently only have, I think I counted 6 characters. And he's sitting there saying, oh, you're not missing out. You got loads of... Oh.
No, you're here.
You're working now.
The AI's gone. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, he's sitting there saying that he's loads of characters, and so far I can only see 6. And it's like...
Isn't one of that 6
so many
as well? And he's like a
No, I think he's coming... Yeah, I think he's coming post-release, so I think maybe there'd be 7 with him. But yeah, so all of this is happening. And it didn't stop there. So I started off with this one bit of Sony exclusivity, and then it added. And now we've got to the point where the beta is currently out, and Fandom. I actually don't know if it's on all platforms, but I know
it's just
that
on PlayStation.
That's what I was about to say. I think it is just on PlayStation,
it is just
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so PlayStation fans have been complaining that they have insane frame rate drops. And the funny thing is when I watched the trailer the other day, I actually said that it looks like the frame rates are dropping insanely. So even in their trailers, they're having frame rate drops when obviously a trailer should normally be like a perfect polished representation of what their game's going to look like. And they've also been complaining about other more minor things such as the motion blur being over the top, and it's just disappointing with all of this happening that the actual game itself might not be as good as they're kind of implying it's going to be, especially because no matter how good the gameplay is, if you can't get it to run very well, nobody's going to enjoy it. Nobody likes a game that has these insane frame rate drops because it just feels bad to play. So
I also think it will sell insane just because of the kids.
Yeah, just because
and that's the problem. That is the problem with getting these free names essentially. Yeah, because they can just do what they want with it. They can ruin it for all they care, but it's not going to tarnish them.
We actually really like the look of the gameplay.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good.
Issues and this sort of greedy money grabbing that's put us off, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think last thing I'm going to say about it is that, you know, I am kind of excited for the gameplay itself, and like it does look fun. And I heard that there's obviously co-op missions and stuff like that, and
Yeah, that's what kind of intrigued me.
Yeah, and obviously I would definitely probably get it and play at some point. But the one thing I would say is that I'm sort of still in two minds as well, because I watched. I know you don't really like doing that, either of you, but I watched people play the beta, and just watched a couple of like scenes from the beta and people playing it, like YouTubers and stuff. And there was like one which was like Hulk, a boss fight with Hulk, playing as Hulk. And I thought, oh, that sounds pretty
what
cool.
with Abomination? Yeah, I saw that.
But I watched it, but I was just a bit underwhelmed by the actual fighting, like the combat.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Maybe I just thought it was going to, because of how cinematic obviously the Avengers is, and because of the way the trailers.
It's Hulk though.
Yeah,
I've always said Hulk will probably be the most boring to play.
Probably
but do you not remember that old school Hulk game on like PlayStation 2?
Yeah, I do.
No.
What
Bradley?
a game where you could do the ground slam that used to do the,
you could pick up tanks. And the first mission, you're in the desert.
Oh no, I do. I kind of remember. I think I played the demo, but I never actually had the game
as well.
Yeah,
and then you had to like infiltrate this like base, and then you fight other mini Hulks.
It was cool.
Such a game.
But yeah, no, I don't know. That's the last thing I'll say about it. I'll be interested to see it, but this whole controversy is just not good for
I
them.
guess again, wait until September, see if they. Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. It is a beta. They have that is the point of a beta. They have time to fix these issues, but whether they fix the greediness they're currently delving into,
I don't.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
We all know, don't we?
That's optimistic, Bradley.
Let's move away from something quite so negative, and hopefully Chris is a bit more positive on the news front, or is it not?
It's a mixed
or is it not?
Week. It's a mixed week.
We don't know about this.
So I've got some interesting bits and bobs. The first bit I wanted to talk about, actually mine's quite depressing. But anyway,
I was going to say I can see him here.
The exciting bit first. So the exciting bit for me is the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster has potentially been leaked.
Okay.
So this is all 3 games in a bundle, and you just play them because obviously you import saves from all of the games. So it's literally just an all-in-one experience, which with all the DLCs, all the extra content, which there's tons for each game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just off of that, it's great value, because you couldn't even, if it's like, 30, 40 quid, you probably couldn't even get all of the games and all of the DLCs for that money. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But basically what's happened is it's been rumoured for a couple of months. And it's looking like maybe they're going for one of these sort of sneaky stealth releases.
Okay.
Like just push it out. Yeah. And the hype around it just popping out of nowhere will sort of generate all the marketing they need, right?
Right.
I mean, it could be fake, but it all sort of comes from, there was a games listing on one of the gaming sites with all the official release titles, Avengers, all of the monthly games to come out. And it said Mass Effect Remaster.
Okay.
And the other sort of things that back this up is, weirdly, we're also getting the art of the Mass Effect trilogy, which is set to release in March next year.
Okay.
So why on earth would they release an art book about the Mass Effect trilogy, which is very, very old at this point, if it was not to connect it to something? So the fact that we've had these sort of sneaky little leaks from gaming, like lists of official games, seems to hint that maybe there is a surprise. And it's been leaked for months that there is a remaster coming from so many different sources.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would seem to indicate
it is true.
that it's coming. But I mean, for me, this is something I'm absolutely buzzing about.
I bet.
And you won't see me, guys. And
the podcast,
all the other reviews, everything else is going to go on hold till I play that. That's sort of where I'm at it. Are you guys excited for this?
Not personally, not because I've got any problem with it, just purely because I never, other than watching you play Mass Effect 2 and 3, and like experiencing.
It's not really a game you can watch.
No, and I did play bits of it, but I just never really could do it and like just get into it. And you know what I'm like with commitment and those sorts of games, I just can't hack it. And so for me, I mean that's cool, and I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I really am.
Happy for you. That was sweet.
Yeah, but
it was sweet or slightly condescending.
Yeah, I think it was both actually. But it's not one for me. I'll give that a miss, I think. But yeah, that's just my personal.
Okay, what about you?
I mean, I loved. I never actually played one, but I loved 2 and 3.
Oh, Bradley, what is?
Especially
Why do you
3.
always say this? You always say I never.
don't know
played
how.
Fable
It
one.
just-
He played 2 and 3.
I literally
Played
was
Dragon
like,
Age Origins.
I was a very poor child, so I couldn't afford the. And then I hit, around when all the sequels were coming out, that's when I started getting money.
when you became a
So-
breadwinner. That's what
So
happened.
I'm just sitting here shaking my head, Bradley.
I was gonna say,
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
Well, if the
but
remaster comes out, I want you to buy it, and I want you to
Well,
see
this
the
is the thing,
entire
is-
thing, the
is
whole
will it?
playthrough.
What do you think it will be? Will it be a remaster or a remake?
No,
Because-
it will just be. I think maybe potentially what we could see is graphical improvements. I think maybe they could remaster 1 and then 2 and 3 just get graphical updates. I think that's the most likely. But even if it is just remastered graphics, like I said, it comes with all 3 games, all the DLC. Like, you're getting your money's worth in this thing.
Yeah. I'm always a bit disappointed with a lot of remasters.
I mean,
That's
to be
my
fair,
problem.
they kind of need to remaster 1 because Mass Effect 1 is so old, and I love it, and it's great fun. But it's out of all of them, it is the most dated.
Yeah.
Massively so.
Well, it could just be a rumor, but we can only hope, especially for you. Because
otherwise I won't be happy for you, Chris, anymore.
No, he won't be.
Well,
So
the thing is, I actually thought about rebuying them when they were on sale, when they were really cheap.
How
But
annoyed
I've
would you
actually
have been?
held off because of these rumors. Because I'm like, I don't want
you're
to
going to be
get
waiting
them.
like 10 years.
It's coming, I promise.
I promise I still won't play them.
Oh.
And then you'll give in, buy them.
And the
And
remaster
they'll
And they'll
come
come
out,
out like
yeah.
the next day. Stealth release.
Joke's on you, Chris.
But yeah, I mean that's all I'd say on that. You guys.
Nah,
got a
I don't have anything else to say on that. I'm
So
afraid.
I'm onto my sort of. Well, this isn't really depressing unless you like get upset for corporations, I guess. The second bit of news
please.
I've got is Microsoft going toe to toe with Apple.
Oh yeah, the big
So-
dogs.
So basically, obviously, we all know about Project xCloud, which is Microsoft's like streaming
Mhm.
service. We've talked about it on here before,
Mhm.
and it's sort of they've tried to get it on Apple's App Store and sort of have a presence on there, but Apple has basically blocked them because apparently Apple are actually obviously looking to dominate that market themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't know this. Apparently, they proudly proclaim that iOS is the biggest gaming platform in the world, which it is, because
Which is strange.
everyone has a mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's downloaded a mobile game.
Well,
at
you
some point.
think in a lot of, I guess, poorer countries, they can't afford consoles.
Yeah.
But everyone's got a phone, and everyone can download
An app.
games on their phones, right?
Yeah.
So that they sort of trying to push this through the App Store, and yeah, they just weren't having any of it. The same sort of thing happened with Facebook's gaming, and they've basically allowed them to have them on there, but removed any sort of functionality that has them being a gaming service.
Right.
So they're essentially like just a social media kind of like
Mm.
a hollowed out shell. And Facebook agreed to this. And they sort of bowed down and allowed it to happen. But Microsoft have been really angry. They actually sent a message to them saying Apple stands as the only general purpose platform to deny consumers from cloud gaming and gaming subscription services like the Xbox Game Pass. It consistently treats gaming apps differently, applying more lenient rules to non-gaming apps, even when they include interactive content. And that was quite a big thing for Microsoft to say against Apple.
It was like a rap battle, and that was just like the punchline.
Yeah,
They dropped that bombshell on them.
It kind of was. And it's true. Obviously, Apple want their slice of the gaming pie, and they're not going to let Facebook gaming. They're not going to let Microsoft have stuff on their platforms. But Microsoft generally, I think nowadays, are seen that they're quite good, quite consumer friendly as a company.
They are, yeah.
And they sort of took the stance that they're doing this for
Selfish
the little
purpose,
guy,
yeah.
and Apple is selfish.
Yeah.
And so it's quite hilarious to see these two massive
Beefing it.
corporations
Yeah.
bickering and
having a beef,
and
yeah.
having like an argument. But yeah,
Can it be beef when apple is a fruit?
Oh god. So I just wanted
Another
to say,
bad joke.
what's your guys' sort of thoughts on this? Do you think Apple has every right because it's their platform, or do you think Microsoft's, they're trying to be more consumer
they have
friendly?
the right, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But no, yeah, I'm on Microsoft's side completely. I remember seeing the Phil Spencer, I think it was Phil Spencer, said that if he could, he'd have Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation, just so
I saw
every
that.
like wherever you are, you can
experience
access Xbox Game Pass as exactly. And the fact that he would go outright and say to his supposed competitor and
That
say,
he would help
if
them
you
if he
ever
could,
want it,
yeah.
we'd do it.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it just shows such a narrow-mindedness from Apple. It's so it's about us. It's about how much money we can make.
It's about the
Because
community.
Yeah, exactly. It should be. It should be about the gamers, which is what Microsoft are trying to say. They're trying to put it on like almost anywhere that someone might have access to.
I mean,
and Apple are in the way of that.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Apple, we know that when it comes to Apple as a corporation, we know that they're not really in your interests.
Apple is,
God no.
If you actually
interest
look
of
into
money.
them, they're not. The funniest thing is, I think it was Ricky Gervais who called them out at the Golden Globes when he literally said to them, "Oh, well done for winning this award about your drama about this, poor African village and all this." And then he went, "From a company that runs sweatshops."
Yeah, I remember that.
And
it was during the thing.
The guy's face, that the CEO of Apple's there, and his face just dropped, and it was just such destruction.
It was, yeah.
It was like because the cheek of to make these heartfelt documentaries
about
when you have these awful sweatshops that. I mean, we're not going to get into this sort of political, but it's just the
I was going to say we're not that kind of podcast.
It's just the irony of that whole situation.
Yeah, I agree.
And like you say, Apple is not, because people defend Apple to the death.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I've got an iPhone
on your side.
I know. I have an iPhone, and
on the consumer side,
I know what they're
want
like,
money.
but I still buy an iPhone.
Yeah,
every
I mean,
time.
I've got an iPhone. I think have we all got iPhones?
Yeah, I think Bradley. I don't know. Bradley's. Bradley is.
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately,
we're all suckers. But yeah, I mean, there's not.
But I would never ever buy a Mac.
Oh, good.
Yeah, at least you're kind of going against the corporation.
I've got my limits. I'll stick to just
isn't
their
that
phones.
just because they're awful for gaming? Because that's why I'd never touch them with an inch of my life. You pay so much money and they can't run anything. Sad.
It's just that it's the OS. It's such a bad OS, but yet people like die for it.
But I think more the point is if it's usually just for the brand, isn't it? You have it because
and there is something to be said. They're very good for office work.
What office work? Yeah, I was going to say they are great.
I'll give them that.
No.
No, you disagree?
Disagree?
No, Macs are awful for office. They're good for.
We get it.
Music,
Bradley doesn't like Macs.
I quite like them.
Yeah, I think they're quite cool, but I wouldn't get.
They're good for music and video editing, but other than that. In an office environment, they're not good for networks. And just no to Max.
Okay,
we're going to upset a lot of Apple fans here.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many Apple fanboys and girls that are sitting there like, you are wrong.
Me and Jack said you can have Max if you want, people, but
I say no, please, from an IT standpoint.
We're going to move this
away
along
from
a little bit.
Yeah.
So the last piece I had today was actually something quite sad for an industry. And that it looks like it might be the end for DC Comics, because there's been absolutely massive layoffs at the company. Their editor-in-chief, Bob Harris, was fired. Mark Doyle, who's an executive director of their Black label, was fired. They've all got the sack. They brought in new people, but we've sort of been told that this is because they're moving away from comics. There's still going to be DC Comics, and that's why they've brought in this new blood to run that. But the rumor is the massive shift is towards the movies and the television branch of DC. That they're because it was always the comic books were always the front runners, and then the TV and the film branches were spin-offs. But in this day and age, comics make no money.
I was going to say they're coming out,
and the television stuff is great for HBO's streaming services.
Yeah.
And, be it animated, be it live action. And obviously the movies tend to make a killing. So that's going to be DC's big focus going forward. And I think that's a really sad day.
I actually noticed when we started talking about this, all of our voices got lower and our tones got really, really slow. And it was like we were all in our head. We were all sending off the comics.
I mean, this has been on its way for a while because comics is a dying medium.
Yeah.
The sales haven't been good. Even Marvel Comics is in an absolute terrible state. The only reason they have been kept afloat is because Disney's been pumping money into them to keep them alive. And it's just, I think, like I said, in a day and age where we get so much for so little with subscription services, comics just becoming too expensive.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's extremely sad, especially for me, because I love a comic book. And we without comic books, we wouldn't have all this great gaming material, this great it's all movie material, because that's the source material. But there's nothing really that we can do about it.
No.
But it's just a sad day for the industry.
It is. And, like you say, it's created so much content in the forms of video games, TV shows, films. And obviously, you always have to remember it for what it has done for the industries. But like you say, it's a dying medium. In today's society, it just doesn't really hold its own weight, does it? And that's the problem.
There's not enough interest. It's not popular.
No,
unless you're a comic book guy from back in the 80s and that sort of time period.
Yeah.
You have comic books selling insane figures with the death and the return of Superman.
Yeah,
and all sort of that. But that just doesn't happen anymore.
No. And it is sad, especially for anyone out there who is into their comic books and things like that. And it is obviously a big deal. Like I say, unless you're like comic book guy from Simpsons that owns the store. My whole life, I spent my whole life collecting comic books. Life well spent. Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean that is quite a down subject, and
Sorry to set a mood.
No, because we're going to bring it back up now.
You should have saved the good one.
Yeah, no, we're going to bring it back up now. Chris, hit us with something
review.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're turning this around now.
We've
had our bit on,
reviews.
And I'm going to talk about something that is. I'm going to keep it brief. I'm going to talk about something that's very special to me that I have spent lockdown just. My brain has been rammed with this show. There's 230 episodes.
Oh my God.
And I watched them all in the space of about 3 months.
Okay.
So
the show is
Dragon Ball Z, which is a really old cartoon, actually.
I was going to say, how old is this?
So I don't know the dates for certain, but I'm pretty sure the original Dragon Ball was like 80s, like because there's Dragon Ball Z, then Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball Z is 90s or something. I think it goes 90s to early 2000s.
Okay.
But I can't tell you for certain. I probably should look that up. But anyway. I watched the whole thing, and this for me was really fun because I remember this as a kid, but I only remember snippets. I remember a few character names, and I just had like mental images, but I couldn't tell you the context. I couldn't. So for me, this all sort of started because I saw a YouTube video of all things that broke down the timeline. And I thought, hey, that's fun. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
And that put things into perspective for me. And then I said, you know what? I want to go back and I want to watch this whole series. So 230 odd episodes later, I sat through the whole thing. Wow. And I was...
Lockdown's been a beautiful thing.
I was blown away. It's one of these shows that is of its time. And I don't really like anime. And it's an anime.
Right.
And it's been called Japan's Star Wars.
Okay.
Because it had that cultural sort of relevance. It was what Star Wars was to sci-fi to anime.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, and I watched the Dragon Ball Z, and I watched the Funimation English dub. So I watched English voice actors.
You watched a dub.
You can either watch subs or dubs with animes.
It's subs.
I couldn't watch a sub because I tried to do it before, and
you monster.
There's just something that especially with Goku, the voice does not fit him. The Japanese voice doesn't.
Didn't you say you remember snippets? So I can kind of understand for nostalgia's purpose.
Yeah, kind of. But I think if I liked, I think if I spoke Japanese, I'd feel differently. But I also think these voice actors.
Always sub.
These voice actors, honestly, the Funimation guys who do Goku, who do Vegeta, who do all these characters, they're amazing. And there's so much material in Dragon Ball Z and in Super where they've taken stuff that doesn't happen in the Japanese, like they ad-libbed stuff, like made stuff up on the spot, made up jokes, improvised, and it works so beautifully and so well and endears you to these characters so much. And, you know, and as a kid, this is a 90s dream. You know, they're screaming at the top of their lungs to power up. Their muscles are bulging and absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, it's very violent. I said to my brother, I was talking to him about watching it, and I said, I was blown away by, you know, they say bastard, they say it's a kid show. Yeah. And they say all these words and stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, I don't remember this. And it's very intense. There's moments of sheer tension and terror when characters are being murdered or they're fighting for their lives. And you're kind of on the edge of your seat. And for a kid's show, that's pretty intense. You just don't expect the stakes to be like that. No. And it all works with the intensity of the voice acting, the soundtrack in Dragon Ball Z. It's amazing. Some of these soundtracks like nail biting. And one of the storylines, because they you know, it's all about it's very much a Superman origin story. He's an alien from another planet. He comes here. He's actually sent a spin on Superman. He's sent to destroy the Earth. Right. And then he bumps his head and he's adopted and he doesn't remember and he grows up as a human. Mm-hmm. And like you say, you've all seen the blonde hair. Yes. Where they go Super Saiyan. Yeah. And that's a transformation. But that's surprising as well because that doesn't happen till, you know, I think around like episode 80 or something. Right. Which is so surprising. Because you see that and think that's the iconic thing from the program. Yeah. And there's such a progression to it. And except for the last arc, which is a bit all over the place, the rest of the series builds and builds and builds. And they build the stakes and they build and one of the arcs is basically a rift on Terminator. Okay. Where they go to the future, or they don't go to the future. Someone comes back from the future and changes things. And there's androids and robots and these murderers. And there's elements to it where this creature who's created from machinery and the character's DNA is going around murdering people, destroying entire towns. And it's shot like a horror movie. Okay. You never see this guy and he's absorbing. And I was honestly like, as much as it's not scary because I'm not a kid. No, but I was like, this is so well done. The music, the atmosphere, they make him this really terrifying being, villain. Yeah. And that whole season for me, it's called the Cell arc. So if you ever just want to watch one bit of it, I'd recommend the Cell arc because it blew my mind away. And for me, it's just, like I said, I don't like anime, but this stands is just out. So good. And like I say, the voice actors embody their characters so well that it draws you in, and the connection you feel with these characters is mind-blowing. And like I said, I tried to watch the Japanese version, but I just didn't. And this isn't even because of nostalgia, because I remember their voices, because I didn't. Yeah. It's just the connection. And I think that if I spoke Japanese, it might be different. But I think because of all the ad-lib and all of the improv, they do such a good job of connecting you to these characters, right? Yeah. But before I go on for all eternity, I'll just say, fantastic series, incredibly violent for a kid's show, but also a show that I think was very beyond its sort of time. Did something insanely interesting that, while it's dated, it's still very watchable to this day. And that's where I'll leave that.
I think we need what we should do, is we should get these like a yay or a nay. So after our reviews,
do you know, just quickly, do you know what I'd quite like to watch for you guys?
Go for it.
Because there's a movie that came out last year called Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Right.
And it's the next installment in the Dragon Ball franchise. and it also acts as a recap of everything that happened before.
Okay.
So you can
like,
watch that
altogether
without
in
any
one.
prior knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd love
Maybe we'll all
to
sit and
watch
watch it
Broly
sometime.
with you guys and
Let's
then
all do that.
review it.
You've got more chance of us both doing that than ever getting Bradley to sit down and watch 200 and something episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I said this could have been a golden oldie, but there's no way.
That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, that's a lot of time that Bradley could be gaming for.
I'll commit to some episodes, but 200.
Yeah, maybe we'll all sit and watch the film. What I was going to say is I think we should get like
do that.
We should have like a yay or nay, right? So after a review, it's like if it's yay, we should get like a little like gimmicky like yay clapping thing, and if it's no, we'll whack whack. Like if we think
then yay or nay, guys.
Problem is, we normally always pick yays.
no, not always. Chris reviewed Transformers, and other
Okay,
things
that a big
That's what I'm saying. Okay, do another one. This is episode 5. How many nays have we?
Okay, all right, fair enough. We won't do that. Yeah, we won't do that. But that was just an idea out the window. Bradley, I mean, yeah, for me, I would watch the film with you. I would sit and watch the thing, but I could not commit to 200.
No, but I think because they've done such a good job of you don't need any prior.
You can go
you're
into
rewarded by having prior information, and obviously you go in with a connection to the characters.
But you could
just watch Broly.
Yeah.
And to be honest, action-wise, it's the best the franchise has ever done.
Okay.
And I love that movie. It's so good.
Well, maybe we'll all sit and watch that sometime soon, and then we can do a golden audio on that.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
But yeah, Bradley. Moving on to your review, I think, which I think we're going to struggle not to talk about for quite a while, aren't we? By the sounds of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep it down.
What it is. Chris is just trying to think about it.
So my review is I finally got around to playing through Doom Eternal. So released earlier this year. Does anybody remember the release date? Was it March?
March, I believe. Was
May?
it your birthday, Chris? Was it around your birthday?
I think it was either March or April.
Yeah, it was close to your birthday. I remember.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure
either
I
way,
for my
released
birthday.
quite a few months ago.
You just told everyone when my birthday is.
We're going to track you down now.
I waited a while, and then I waited again to have like a block of time off so I could really get stuck in and get into it. And I mean, I honestly, the gameplay is fantastic. It flows so nicely. I mean, I for reference, as I am the Ripper, I played on Nightmare. I didn't go for the Ultra Nightmare. I wasn't that crazy.
I get a headache.
I just played the Ultra Nightmares where you only have one life. I played on the same difficulty, but where you have as many checkpoints as you need. But yeah, I mean, it just is so gorgeous. It's you walk around, and the biggest problem is the fact that you walk around and you barely get time to take any of it in.
Yeah,
because of how like fast paced the game is. But they did such a good job with how it looks, especially compared to the first one. As in the 2016 reboot,
Doom,
where it felt very samey. It felt very
rinsed and repeated. Like every.
I was gonna say I've seen this argument pop up a lot in the threads.
Yeah.
That Doom 2016 looks more gritty, more sort of real, whereas this feels a lot more arcadey, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a bad thing because it's a nod to the origins of the Doom
classic
franchise,
arcade.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
I preferred this one by far because
so did I.
But this one was just on another. Like I enjoyed 2016. The problem was also I played 2016 on console, but I played this on PC, and playing on PC was so fun. It literally the gameplay was just it for me. It didn't need anything else. I mean, it had a good soundtrack.
Good story.
Like I said, it looked gorgeous. It had. But this is the problem. I finished the game and I was like, I don't really know what happened because it was so intense.
Time to think.
I'm playing through on Nightmare, and literally, I was like, I mean, I'm pretty good at games, but like Nightmare's challenging, and I love it. And like, I've only been on PC for like a year, and I love the challenge of it. It was so good. But that was another thing I really liked was that they did the difficulty really well. I mean, I haven't played on the easier difficulties, but a lot of games have the problem of when you go to the hardest difficulty, they just go, oh, how do we make it difficult? I know, you've got no health. The enemies are
aggressive,
like tanks
double
that
health.
take a million, all your ammo to kill.
They do triple damage.
And they didn't do that. They made you still feel like a powerful Doomslayer, but took away a little bit of that sustain, but just enough for you to feel like you just need to be good to survive, rather than you need to be like, insane and like literally hitting everything perfectly. And that's what I loved about that balance that they found for the difficulty. Because I think of games like Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, where literally Nightmare is just a grind. I played it through.
It's a bad nightmare.
It's such a grind. It's so annoying. It literally, like, every fight is a boss fight because it's just slapping, because their health has just been like multiplied so much. It literally is. And it's, I don't know, like that in my opinion, no offense to Ubisoft, is difficulty done badly. It's just make enemies tanky.
There's no doubt.
But you never feel like that in Doom. You still get these weapons that can like almost one shot the biggest guys.
Yeah.
Because they're meant to be powerful weapons, and it doesn't undermine that. Like, and that's what I love is that you get the BFG, and it can still absolutely wreck like the biggest like tyrant, and you're just like, yes, that is what it should be doing.
Yeah.
Because if I shot that and he didn't even look like he'd been damaged, I'd be so disappointed
because it takes away from the point of the game, doesn't it?
It would break immersion.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this guy's amazing, and then
so
like you see it.
You can't just blow a hole in the center of Mars.
You can't just blow a hole into the surface of Mars.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you 100%. Doom, I played the 2016 one and I did enjoy it, but this one was just, it blew it out of the water for me.
Just adrenaline pumping.
I would say, and I think Chris and me have talked about this a lot. I know you said the soundtrack was good, Bradley, but I think that's understating it. The soundtrack, I've never.
This is the problem. I didn't get time to listen
so much.
Oh, God.
Like
rip and tear.
Yeah,
till it is done.
But do you not think though that it's the most atmospheric game for the soundtrack? Like the soundtrack brings you into.
Oh,
it.
that's the soundtrack is perfect.
One of the soundtracks.
Yeah.
The noise that they use is a chainsaw, and you're literally just like, ah!
Yeah, it's like a
you start to feel like a bit of an insane nut job.
Yeah,
because you're just cutting left, right, and centre and ripping heads off and throwing grenades.
Yeah,
it's just. We said about this. You need a break.
You do need a bit of a break.
We played it. I played it for a couple of hours. And
never break.
I had to take it off and chill out.
Take off the Doom suit.
So
never break.
Chris was sitting in his chair listening to heavy metal with an actual Doom suit on, like an authentic one.
I think the biggest problem I had as well, because I played it through a second time, and I would talk to the guys in party chat because I had already done the story.
Yeah.
And I done it with headphones on, and all I could hear was, because I got insulated headphones, so the music would come through into my ears with your talking. And honestly, you guys would talk to me and I'd zone out.
And you just, I can't hear you. Yeah, I remember actually we were playing we were playing a game before, and you was playing Doom, and you was chatting to me, and you said to me, "Sorry, mate, I haven't been able to listen for the last 5 minutes. The music is just so intense and loud." And you was like, "I have no idea what you were saying." But then I tried to play Doom at one point while you guys were on something else, and I was in the party, and I honestly couldn't agree with you more. I was like, I'm gonna have to leave the party because I can't listen to you and play this game. There's just too much going on, and it's too intense and too drawing for me to listen to you and try and talk back to you when this intense heavy metal is playing, and my brain is moving at about 1 million miles an hour. It's the fastest my brain's ever moved. Like, and when you come out of it, like, I don't know how Bradley could play it on that difficulty, because
literally I loved it.
Yeah,
I absolutely adored it.
But I stuck to normal,
and it is intense, and yeah, I would agree. It's
I think
stunning.
That's my biggest.
That's your biggest.
That's my biggest love of the game is how beautifully challenging goes. It literally, like, when you complete one of those arenas, you have this moment of like, yes.
Yeah,
because you did it. It's just finally gone your way.
Oh yeah, you feel
exactly.
You sweat, and you come out of it and you go, whoo, and then you just like, right now, carry on.
Because that's what I mean. You just like it to play it at that difficult. You never stop moving. If you stop moving, you die. And that's what I love. It's just so fun. But the other thing I really liked was actually the platforming sections, which I said to Alexa that I thought that they were
You're
losing you
definitely
again.
an android tonight.
You've been taken over
Just
by the Borg or
like
something.
you have all this like constant fighting, and then you suddenly get these really. Oh, hello.
Bradley, we've really like.
Someone's internet is playing
Hello?
up, man.
Yeah, you're.
Can you hear us?
He can.
Yes.
Hear us, I think he's just. Yeah,
Can
he's
you
just
hear
coming.
me?
He's coming and going, aren't you? You're an
Yeah.
android tonight. Yeah.
Hello?
We heard platforming. We heard these sections with swinging and jumping.
I'll do a wee bit of cutting.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Is it back then? Oh, okay. Okay, good. But yeah, so I just thought they did that really well, having the downtime with the platforming to kind of break up these really intense arena fights. I just thought that was like such a nice breakup, and it did kind of get you to enjoy the environments a bit more when you were like swinging around and grabbing walls and stuff.
Did you not also?
And the other thing was the collectibles.
Oh yeah,
they were
actually
great.
fun.
They were fun. Yeah.
Exactly, they were fun. They were either these little toys that like are stupid, and he has like a little interaction with them,
the little
or they were really worthwhile because you could upgrade your suit, or
it was.
I mean, the amount of at first it was a bit overwhelming. There was a lot of menus, but then it was like, oh no, I want to get all these. It's like these are all going to help me.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece of a game, isn't it?
It blows my mind at how well it's made.
Yeah,
because it's such a love letter to old 80s arcade shooters, but yeah, at the same time.
Well, this is the thing. You say that.
Where you go on?
Hello.
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
What? That was the most dramatic pause.
No, like sorry, it's the internet. It was like you spoke and I was letting you finish, and then on yours it obviously came through a long time after. But no, you say that, and the problem I still ran into quite a few bugs, which is the only downside for me.
That must be a PC issue.
Yeah,
because I encountered nothing.
No, literally. Well, it's also because of. I mean, I don't know whether you went for every single collectible.
No, I
have every single achievement in that game except for the battle mode.
It's so weird. Yeah, I was gonna say that's me. But yeah, literally. I mean, there was a point. On Urdak. Do you remember the second to last mission, the one with all the orange rings?
Yes.
That you jump through and it shoots you across.
Yeah.
Basically, I stepped on one of those buttons and it wouldn't give me the orange rings, and there was nowhere back, and I was at the very last time you have to go through them. So I'd literally done everything in the mission apart from the boss, and I was just stuck, and I was just like so annoyed. So like this is what I mean. There's just a few times that I just get like that and then stuck on geometry, and it's just I don't know what it is. There's just some polish, like a tiny bit that would need just to like become amazing. But I mean, I still loved it. It still was amazing, really. But
it's interesting
that happened like quite a few times.
Neither of us did.
Well, like I say,
it
must be a
work.
platform issue. It must have been a piece because I can't remember any issues on the Xbox.
don't think mine did.
Actually, I also got stuck behind a statue at one point in one of the arenas.
Tell a lie. The only one thing that did happen to me, but I just thought that was just bad luck. Basically, do you remember like bits where you had to kill a certain amount of enemies before the shield, like the plasma shield things, would open to the next bit?
Yeah. Did it just get stuck?
No, a guy, one of the little grunts, got stuck on the other side of it, and he was still trying to scratch at me, but I couldn't shoot him or blow him up through it, and because of it, it wouldn't open the door to let me through. So I actually had to restart checkpoint. But that's literally the whole game. That's the one.
See, my problem with the one like my last bug was that restarting the checkpoint didn't bring back the orange rings.
Oh, really?
So it was either restart the whole mission, which was like 2 hours worth with all the
especially when you're playing on that difficulty, Bradley.
Exactly. So I ended up just getting cheat engine and just no clipping my way back. And I was like, well, if you're going to break the game, I'm going to break the game too.
So, unless there's anything else you want to say about Doom, is there anything else? Other than
just overall,
rip and tear.
It was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all need to break.
It's just so fast and fun.
It is one of my favorite first-person shooter games of this generation. It's just I get excited. I think like I played it this morning, like just because I wanted a little refresher, and I was like, oh god, whoa, this is fast. Like, even like his movement, I'm like, whoa, okay, you're quick, dude. And it took me a little bit to get back into the rhythm.
that was the last thing I was going to say, actually. I remember swapping from that to like another shooter, and I was like, oh, this is so slow. And I was like,
that's always the problem, isn't it? Yeah,
you're like, to come out of it.
Like, why can't I just
move faster?
Shoulders? What?
Oh, because I'm playing a puzzle solving.
Why is there no chainsaw? I'm playing a puzzle.
But yeah,
and just one thing I wanted to say about it quick is what I loved, which I don't think you guys touched on, was the story and the fact that you could engage in it if you wanted to, and the lore is amazing, and it's this huge breadth. And if you read all the codex stuff, all the story makes sense, and it is insane. It's so well written. But also, there's an element of Doom fans who just want to rip and tear. They don't want to think. They just want to rip Hell Demons apart. So I think
that was me. That was me.
That was us.
But I think it does a really good job, because I think it did a good balance of catering to people who just wanted mindless fun, but people who also wanted a story, right?
Yeah. And to an extent, it did tell a story even without the codexes and things like that. It did still kind of enough to follow.
Enough to follow. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is like I beat it and I was like, wow, I've done it, nice. And then I was like, I love this game, and then I was like, I kind of want to know more about the story. So I went back and I like looked at everything, and then I like looked up YouTube videos, like kind of running through the story again, because I was really interested by it afterwards.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Without having the pressure of the like intense combat at the same time. So it's a really good story. Once I watched a YouTube video of someone going through like everything, and I was like, wow, this has actually been really good, and I've missed out on a really good story. Yeah, it is really in depth, which was surprising considering it's like Doom. You said, you don't really expect it from Doom. You're like, oh yeah, just rip and tear, that's it. Like, but they've actually gone out of their way to make it such a big world already, which is such a huge step up from 2016 as well, where it didn't really feel like they did that much.
No.
In comparison.
Yeah.
With like the whole world building.
I agree.
But yeah.
So I'm going to flip this whole thing completely on its head with my review.
Okay.
Like, literally, so your Doom review, it's all about how intense and everything is. I'm going to go on like a really flip side here. And I want to flip it over and talk about Fall Guys, which is a indie mini game. It's classed as a battle royale, actually. Fall Guys came out on Steam and on PlayStation. Unfortunately, it's not on Xbox, which is a bit sad, but I have got it on PlayStation. It's free to play if you've got PS Plus, and I don't know how much it's on Steam, actually. I'm not sure. But
16, $15.99, I think.
So basically, the concept's pretty simple. It's like it's a rounds of knockout until you're the last player standing. But what I was going to say is, the way I describe it, Takeshi's Castle. Takeshi's Castle meets Total Wipeout, meets other fun indie games sort of thing. It's basically you play as like these little like bean looking things, and that you customize them. You can change the colors, you can change the you change the skins, you can change the costumes, you can put them in silly little outfits. It's just a fun game, like, guys. It is just a real laugh, and it's the kind of game you'd play with friends. It's a shame, actually. The one thing I would say that's negative about it for me is there's no split screen option, and there's no it's only you can invite your friends and play online, but that's it. So that's a bit disappointing. But aside from that, I would say that this game is just hilarious. So you play as these little beans, you customize them, you go in there, it's 60 players. I
love the description of them as beans.
They are little bean looking things.
They are like little beans, yeah, but I'd never put that together.
But basically, you start off 60 players, and it's randomly selects one of these game modes or courses. They're all slightly different mini games. Some are like obstacle courses like Takeshi's Castle and stuff, and others are like memory games. Some are like balance games. Some are like timing games. They're all like fun little things, and it's just hilarious. Like I've played it since it came out, and I've probably played it at least a couple of games a night. I've won once so far, and I honestly can say I still haven't played all of the game modes. Like, even though it randomly cycles them, I still haven't played every single one of them. But guys, if you were having a group of people round and you just wanted to play something hilarious, this is it, because you fall over each other, like the characters, they stumble. Yeah, it is just brilliant. And you've probably seen like some memes about and some videos of people playing it, and it just is such a fun, good time. It's so easy going. It's easy on the mind. It's quite frustrating, I'll be honest, because you're so determined to win, and you'll be like running through this course, and then you just get wiped out by like something swinging, or you fall over a player.
A lot of it's out of your control.
It is like the balancing and the falling over, the stumbling. You can, because there's 60 players at the start, it's chaotic as well, so you can fall over each other. It's brilliant, guys. Honestly,
you can grab each other as well, can't you?
Trample over each other, yeah, and you can grab hold of other players. You can't. The annoying thing is
it just on PlayStation?
PlayStation or Steam?
And Steam,
yeah. But basically, you can grab hold of each other. The only annoying thing is that it doesn't let you actually pull the other player. So if you pull away from them, it just pings you off and lets go. But you definitely can do little things just to irritate other players and like get in the way of other people and stuff. But I would just say it's one of them games. There's not loads to it. There's a battle pass, but it's free, which is cool. Just a free battle pass.
So
yeah.
good.
You only win crowns by, so you win crowns, which is their currency.
Okay.
Crowns, I think there is a store, I'll be honest. I think you can buy crowns, but otherwise you win them by winning.
Is it free to play though?
It's free if you've got PS Plus. Membership,
and it's £16 on Steam.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, and for the fun that it brings, honestly, I would just suggest it just for a massive laugh. To be honest, I always
think like games like as long as if they're free or they're really cheap, like throwing them a few bucks in the store is fine, right? At least in my opinion. Yeah,
exactly. And I would just say honestly, so I've got it on mine. Next time you come over, we'll all play it. But I've played plenty of it, and I've just had so much fun with it. I mean, I've only won once, and when I did, I felt like an absolute boss because it is such pot luck as well. Like you can just have a really bad game.
You're a mushy king of the hill.
I was, but yeah, it's great fun. And my only, like I said, my only complaint with it, I know it's obviously just a new game and it's only an indie game really. The only downside for me is I wish there was the option of split screen, or even like you could still be online, but you could be playing with split screen as well. Like I wished, or if there was like an actual like party event game, so you could play with like a group of people if you all had controllers or whatever, or take it in turns. There's no
maybe down the line they'll
maybe
they'll get something like that, because they did say they're like looking to update it. So
I'm thinking they'll just bring out more game modes and stuff.
I mean,
but that could be one of the things
ridiculously well. Like you say, for I heard that some of the servers had issues.
They did
because
too many people
they reached max capacity day one, and a lot of people started review bombing it.
Yeah.
And then they basically sent out a tweet saying, we're getting review bombed currently. Like, please bear with us. We really want to support this game. And then they got positive review bombed. So it just went straight back up.
It is. So it's great fun, and honestly, like I say, there's not much to it, but it's just worth such a laugh. And I've had so many funny experiences on it already, and it's weird because it's that
dumb fun, right?
Dumb fun, and but it's that fun but aggravating, because you'll be so close to the finish line, and just the one, because it tells you how many people are qualifying in each round, how many people are allowed to qualify, and you might be that one last person, and you're running towards the finish line, and you just before it you'll fall over something, or something will hit you and knock you back down the hill or something, and it's just it's infuriating but brilliant.
It sounds so funny.
It is, and we'll definitely all play it soon, just so you guys can experience it, because I'm in love with the little game and these little beans. But yeah, I obviously there's not too much to talk about with that, but moving on, it's time for our quiz.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. No golden oldie this week, but that's because we're all working on stuff, and
we've got some stuff in the pipeline.
We do, but yeah. So we're moving on to the quiz now. I wanted to do this the first time I was Quizmaster, but I got distracted and went somewhere else. So I thought I would do something that I feel like you might know. Obviously, the first question's obvious, but you might know more than I think, and this might be ridiculously easy. But I went with horror fandom, okay?
In particular, just horror general.
No. In particular, Friday the 13th movies.
Okay.
Oh no,
Jason.
I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not saying anything about it. You're going in blind. You're going Friday the 13th. I'm not saying anything.
No, Freddy's the
this is brilliant.
No, that's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes. So I'm thinking that
Freddy's
this is
the rubbish Wolverine.
This is Michael Myers.
On girls.
No, that's Halloween.
So I'm glad you two are already confused. So the first question should be pretty obvious, but now I don't know. So I'm going to go straight with this. So question number 1: which weapon does horror icon Jason Voorhees wield? Is it
Okay.
A glove with blades on the fingers? B, a scythe? C, a machete?
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
But,
so I'm gonna
yeah.
go with machete. What about you,
Yes.
Bradley?
C,
I'm
machete.
glad you both went with machete.
Okay.
It is machete. I've got to tell you a really funny story about that. So obviously, Cool, my girlfriend, she's into horror just like I am. And she basically, I said to her, I run this quiz past her before I did. Now, obviously, I'm expecting her to get 5 out of 5, right?
Okay.
First question, I say to her, bless her heart, I said to her, what weapon does he wield? I read them out, yeah. And she knows full well who he is as well. And she goes, a scythe, yeah. And I went, cool, it's a machete, yeah. And she went, I thought a machete was a gun. And I was like, oh bless your heart. But anyway, bless her. Anyway.
So wait, but what did she think? So she thought a scythe was a machete.
She
and
thought
machete was a gun.
She thought a machete was a gun and a scythe was like a sword. So
we still love you, Courtney. It's fine.
Okay.
But anyway, moving on to question 2. What nickname do the locals refer to Camp Crystal Lake by? Is it A, Camp Happy, B, Camp Blood, or C, Camp Summertime? Now, before you answer, I'll give you a hint here.
Okay.
This is after the events of Friday the 13th. So they're not calling it a nickname before anything bad happens there, okay? So bear in mind, this is the obvious question.
Well, surely
wait, so it's after something bad.
It's
happens.
after something bad happens.
It's got to be blood then.
Yeah, I thought I'd tell you that because otherwise you would have thought maybe it was before the murder.
I would have gone with happy.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I'd help you out.
I would have gone with Summertime.
Yeah. So now we're moving on to questions that are a bit more
2.
obscure. 2 and 2. Right. Question number 3. What horrific incident happened to Jason at Camp Crystal Lake when he was just a boy, causing everyone to believe that he had been dead for 2 decades after? Was it A, he was led out into the forest by bullies and ferociously beaten with logs and sticks? B, his cabin was set on fire by bullies, leaving him trapped inside to burn alive? C, he was pushed into the lake and left to drown?
What was A again?
A, he was led into the forest and beaten ferociously with sticks and logs. B, was a burning cabin. C, was drowned.
What do you reckon, Bradley?
This is like the weird thing is my like before he asked the question, I was like, I swear he drowned. But now he said the burning cabin.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I kind of think
I'm gonna have to go
water
with
as
C.
well. I'm gonna go with drown as well.
You're both going to go with drown.
In my brain.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You are both right. So you're going 3 for 3 right now.
Yes.
He's drowned. So he's pushed in the water and he's deformed as a child, which is why he's bullied.
Yeah. Which is why I was kind of on the verge of fire.
Yeah,
because
he's deformed. He's just deformed. He's got facial deformities, and then he's pushed in the water and he can't swim, and they leave him there to drown, which is why they believe he's dead.
Because I believe in the Freddy vs. Jason movie, I think he literally comes out of the water when he
comes out of the water in the film. He
he?
does a couple of times.
That's the only reason I had
lives in the
water in my
water.
brain.
So, question number 4. You should have no trouble with question number 4.
Okay.
In 2003, Jason Voorhees went toe-to-toe with what rival horror icon? Was it Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, or Leatherface?
Freddy Krueger.
You answered the question before we even talked about the question, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoils.
I've only watched that movie around yours.
Yeah, and I actually thought a minute ago, damn, I think Chris has seen that. I thought if you hadn't
I'm
seen
pretty sure you put it on for me as well.
Yeah,
when I went round to yours.
I'm a bit of a
You
sucker
were like,
for it.
yeah, should we
So-
watch this?
The last question, could you go 5 for 5 on a horror quiz that you know nothing about?
I mean, I'd say, Jack, I'm disappointed. I was expecting more from you.
Well, I didn't want to. You should have seen some of the questions I had written down. They were so obscure. Right? I had in the first ever Friday the 13th film, what is the first animal that you see on the door of one of the cabins? I was like, oh, that
should have gone with that one.
Yeah. Right. So number 5. If you can go 5 for 5, then well done.
You up the difficulty.
I'll up difficulty next time. How many people does Jason kill in the first Friday the 13th movie? Is it A, 0, B, 4, C, 6? This is obviously more of a stab in the dark. No pun intended. But you've got A, 0, B, 4, C, 6. The first movie ever.
I think it's between 4 and 6. It's still going to be 0, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well.
What do you reckon, Bradley?
I'm gonna go with, I don't know, maybe 6. I feel like he killed a lot of people in the first movie, so I might go with 6.
Okay, I'm going to keep it modest and go with a solid 4 for his first
So we've got a 4 for Chris and a 6 for Bradley.
6.
You are both wrong. He kills 0 people in the first movie.
Are you serious?
Let me tell you why. The first movie is not about.
It is useless.
The first ever movie is his mum goes on a killing spree because she thinks that the camp counselors let her son drown. So she goes on a killing spree in the first movie, and at the very, very end, his mum gets decapitated in front of him, which is what sets him off on the rampage in the second film.
So is that actually is that originally the first one released, or is that canonically the first film?
Wow, that was a big word. What do you mean?
So is that the first ever one that came out, or is
chronologically?
That like a prequel?
No, it's the first film.
First ever
yeah.
film.
So the first ever film, you see him as a child.
Okay.
He drowns. Well, they drown. They think he drowns. He then lives off in the woods as like this freak show. Yeah, and he lives in the woods for decades, and that's what I mean. They think he's dead. The mum, she blames the camp counselors for not doing anything about the bullying and the fact that he drowned, and they weren't looking after him properly. So she then goes on a killing spree in the first film, and she attacks the camp mates, the camp counselors, and everything like that. And then one of the people at the camp fight back, and they kill her at the end of the film. But while they don't know this, but while they kill her, he is watching in the forest, and he sees her die, his mum die, and then that sends him off on a spiraling rampage. And he then she's killed with the machete. And then in the even more, just a little fun fact for you, second film, the first kill he makes is not with the machete. That comes, not even the second kill, but it comes later as the iconic weapon, because he then takes to it because it was the weapon that his mum was killed with.
Horror. That's just so messed up, isn't it?
I know, it's great. But yeah, so I mean, you did well, considering you don't really know anything about it. And
so we got 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. And you was both thrown by the I mean, I was thinking the same thing. There's no way he killed 0 people. That's not a good horror film, is it? But yeah.
It was a good bait, yeah.
Yeah, good bait.
I
thought I'd bait you in with it.
It was a good misdirect. After we were giving you stick for easy questions.
Yeah, exactly. But if I'd have gone with the questions I was going to go for, I think it would have been a 0 out of 5. But I thought I have to make some of these easy. But yeah, no, that was very enjoyable. Anyway, do we have any closing thoughts today?
Closing thoughts. Does Bradley want to share this week?
Yeah, go on. I'm hoping one week Bradley's going to surprise us.
1 week is going to come out of a blinder.
I will share this week.
Go for it.
I just want to say a big thank you to Chris for all the work he puts into the podcast.
Yeah.
He does a lot for the outline, and he sources a lot of the news, and then we go off and kind of like add our own spice to it. So I just wanted to say thank you on our 5th episode to Chris.
I appreciate that. No, well done, Chris.
Cheers,
and
guys.
Yeah, that was a very lovely closing thought, Bradley.
Very, very nice.
Bit annoyed you didn't mention me, but whatever.
Oh, come on.
I managed the social media.
I didn't thank myself, did I?
No, to be fair. No, Chris,
I just want to thank myself.
And then you do stuff too. I just know that Chris
know.
does a lot, especially because he deals with all the editing and the uploading. So
yeah, and he also does. Yeah.
I also appreciate you, Jack.
I think this is going to be the edit heavy video.
Yeah, because Bradley turned into an AI halfway
with Mr.
through.
Roboto.
I apologize.
No,
I didn't know my internet was going to be bad tonight.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's not your
fault.
fault.
My closing thought is Bradley's already been replaced by the AIs.
Yeah.
So we don't got to worry about that anymore.
But yeah, so that's all from us today, guys, and catch you next week.
Yeah. See you later, guys.